Well, good morning, my friends.
Good morning, Steve. You look beautiful.
It's so great to see you guys. It really is. I'm so happy to be here. Completely an honor that we can all join together and explore the beauties of our heart. Not just the beauty, but the power of our heart to start this process of shifting our own hearts. And in the process, we start to shift the heart of America. So let me just give a little brief overview while people are still signing in. So I'm Stephen Wynn, and I have the great privilege of leading this class. This is a fourth class I've led like this. The first three I just did independently, starting from one of the graduate programs in I Am Heart, where Susanna said to me, you should start some spiritual activism. And what I've discovered is when Susanna gives you a nudge, you just follow it. You know, she's both of them, Karan and Susanna, they're just going from a very deep place and reflecting deep wisdom. So I started this class called Healing the Heart of America, and done three of these classes so far. They're always been a month long, and just remarkable results. And finally, when we were talking about it, I said, why don't I do it under the umbrella of I Am Heart? And they liked that idea. So here we are. And generally what we're going to be doing is going deeply within our heart using really fundamental practices from I Am Heart. That means the breathing, the heart rhythm meditation. It means the dimensions of the heart. It means the five elements. And once we're deeply within the heart, what we'll do is we'll start applying the power and deep wisdom and love of our heart to the issues of the day. Whatever's stirring us up, we'll start exploring ways to find how to respond with love instead of being stirred up. And as we do it more and more, what we'll discover is how we respond is really a habit. And what we're doing is developing the habit of living from our hearts and responding with love. And the whole world changes once we get this habit. It's one of the benefits of living in our hearts. We speak in I Am Heart of having 9 steps of heart development. The first 3, people are more or less functioning from their minds and responding and reacting from their minds. It's perfectly okay to do that. Mind is an incredible tool for us. The next 3, we start functioning from our heart, responding from our heart. And the final 3, I'll just describe it this way. It's more the responding from spirit, or what I'll say, the universal heart. And so the intention here is to move us all along this escalator, this moving walkway, to where we are not just responding from our hearts, but responding from this universal vastness, this pool of infinite love. So that'll take about 40, 45 minutes, and then we'll have this optional time where anyone who's stirred up about anything at all, or possibly the topic on hand for the day, I'll be happy to work as sort of a style of, sort of a mix of emotional intelligence work I did before I Am Heart, but it got really modified by Hikaya healing. So it's sort of like a healing session, but you'll do the work. I'll just ask the questions. It's real simple. At any rate, this morning, just sort of to help everyone get involved with the process, I thought we'd give everyone a couple of options to work on. So one is, and I'll have you do this because it's hard to find things you're stirred up with once we get into our hearts. But if you wouldn't mind, just for a second, just look at your life and see, where am I stirred up? What frustrates me? What irritates me? What do I want to change? And this can be very personal, like something with your family or friends or at work. You don't have to pick the biggest thing in your life to get started to learn all this, but just sort of get in touch with it. We'll come back to it later. What bothers you on a national scale, because every day we'll pull something out of the headlines. Just how do you feel about our Supreme Court and the latest nomination of Amy Barret? Do you love it? Does it frustrate you? Does it feel like a sellout? Does it, you know, Republicans are doing this and they wouldn't let President Obama do it at the end of his last term? Just, and the idea is, by the way, that instead of suppressing our emotional reactions, we want to start welcoming them up as gifts, because we'll use the energy that's stored up inside of us as a way to heal it and move into the depth of quietness and peace. So that's a general overview of what we'll be doing. So now let's just get started with our meditation. So what I ask everyone to do is first check what state you're in right now. That means, what's your internal level of quietness? Are you very agitated? Are you very alert? Are you very simple? Are you very busy? Take a look around your room, maybe out your windows. How do you feel connecting with your room, the outdoors, wherever you are? How do you feel about your body right now? Just to notice, and we'll use this as a baseline to help everyone see how deeply we start to go. So with that, let's start by saying good morning to our heart. And what I would invite everyone to do is simply place your hands over your heart. This turns out to be a very ancient posture. There's statues that are thousands of years old of great saints and masters sitting in this posture. And there's really nothing to do here other than be aware and notice what's happening. We don't need the mind for this to work. We've all heard the phrase, a labor of love, right? What that means is the way our work really works is our energy comes out of our heart through our hands, and we do whatever it is we're doing. It's a labor of love because the energy comes from our hearts. Well, here we're taking that energy and redirecting it back into our heart. And you may be able to feel, doesn't matter if you do or don't, but you may be able to feel through your hands your heartbeat. And now, just after sitting here for maybe a minute or two, just check to see what your internal experience is right now. What changes happen when we say good morning to our heart and enliven our heart? And just let your hands down whenever that's comfortable. And now let's spend a few minutes saying good morning to our breath. By that I mean we're just going to spend a few minutes noticing our breath, not trying to change anything yet. Just notice how full you're breathing this morning, how deeply, how clear are your nostrils. Is one nostril more open than the other? That's common for most of us until we get very deep in meditation. And just notice your breath, this whole respiratory system, and what a great friend it's been to us, literally, since we were born. Could you allow yourself to feel a bit of gratitude for our lungs, for our respiratory system, supplying us with this great energizing oxygen day in, day out? And just take another note, take another check, another notice. What happens when we just sit with our breath? And if nothing seems to happen, don't worry, it's perfect. It's just an invitation. Over time, you begin to notice these things. We become more and more sensitive. And that's just practice. Now let's go a little further. And let's start practicing the full breath, where we inhale fully, we exhale fully. And generally, the best way to do this is to start with the exhale, pull your abdominal muscles all the way back towards your spine. And as you do that and then you let go, automatically the very full inhale happens. The breath is one of the few things in our life that can happen unconsciously or consciously. When we begin this process of consciously full breath in, full breath out, that means, by the way, breathe majestically, breathe spaciously, not a rush, we're not hyperventilating. Long, full inhale, long, full exhale. What happens when we claim the breath consciously? It frees up our nervous system to start processing issues within us. So you may start to notice thoughts, strange thoughts or feelings start to arise. And that's wonderful. This means our nervous system is working perfectly to purify us, to heal us of that which has been suppressed. And again, just check. We're filling up our system, our body with this incredible life force, prana, chi, whatever you want to call it. What happens to your level of internal awakeness, alertness, as we flush our body with this energy? Are we less awake? Are we more awake? And any experience is perfect. Less energized, more energized. And what happens to your mind with this? Quieter, more active? Anything's okay, just to start being aware. And from here, let's move into our basic heart rhythm meditation. This incredible process that Paran and Susanna pulled out of the ancient desert fathers, desert mothers from the 4th, 5th centuries, who used heart and breath to create one of the most dynamic spiritual movements in history. These desert fathers and mothers weren't just a few isolated great saints. Tens of thousands of people moved into the desert to be with these desert fathers and mothers. And what we do is we start connecting the rhythm of our heartbeat to the rhythm of our breath. It means typically inhale to the count of 8 heartbeats, exhale to the count of 8 heartbeats. Could be 6, could be 10, whatever's right for you. And if you can't feel your heartbeat yet, don't worry. That inner sensitivity just grows. Right now, you could just feel your pulse if you want. You could hold your breath a little bit. That helps you to find your heartbeat. Or you could simply count stately. 8 count in, 8 count out, whatever's comfortable. And just inhale to the count of 8 heartbeats. Exhale to the count of 8 heartbeats. I don't know what everyone's level of experience with heart rhythm meditation is in this class, so I'm doing everything very basically and slowly in the beginning. We'll move it along as days come along. But if you've chosen a name for your heartbeat, always use that, whether I invite you to or not. And if you have not connected a name to your heartbeat, here's an invitation to explore that. So what I suggest you do is you find some great being or teacher from whatever tradition, or it could be an aunt or an uncle or friend who has really helped you, but ideally a divine being whatever you're comfortable with. Usually we look for someone with a two-syllable name. So if you're Christian, it might be Abba, means father. Amma. Those desert fathers were known as Abbas and the mothers were known as Ammas. Or it could be Jesus or Mary. If you've got a Vedic or Hindu background, it might be Rama, Devi, Lakshmi, Krishna, whatever. Could be Buddha. If you're a Taoist, it might be Lao Tzu. Whatever your tradition. If you're a Sufi, probably Allah. Allah. And just connect that sound to your heartbeat. It becomes a nice counting process. But more importantly, we begin to connect to this being at the very depth of our heart. Just continue for a few minutes. And now let's add one more shift, one more exploration of our energy field. I think you'll explore and discover during this course that our heart becomes the center point of our vast and infinite energy field. That's what our heart is. Emanates from our heart. And there's this incredible relationship between the energy of our heart and the energy surrounding us, the infinite energy that permeates all of creation. And when we breathe, we tend to breathe and the air comes in through our nose, let's say, down into our lungs. So I want you to continue that, but I want you to notice that as we breathe, there's both the air that comes in to our lungs, and there's also an energy stream that comes in. And I'm going to invite you to separate those two. And as we inhale, to allow that energy stream to just come directly into our heart. Inhale, we fill up with air, and we fill up with energy into our heart. We exhale, the energy just goes straight back out in front of us, out into the universe. So we're pulling in the universal energy into our heart, filling our heart up, transforming it in our heart, and sending that transformed energy back out to bless all of creation. Just play with this. It takes a little bit to experience it. And if it doesn't show up easily, just do not worry about it. All this sensitivity develops in increments. It's just like your muscles, your strength develop in increments as you start working out. It just becomes more and more clear the more we just put our attention on it. Fill up our hearts with energy in the inhale. Share that energy with the universe on the exhale. Just do this for a minute or two. You might just take a moment to check your own inner state again. Compare it to when we first got started. Just notice the shift, however that shows up for you. So we've been breathing in, breathing out from the front, back into our heart. Let's shift this into what's called the swinging breath. So this time, we're just going to start breathing out to the back of our heart. Then inhaling from the back, filling our heart up, exhaling out to the front. Inhaling from the front into the heart, exhaling out to the back. Still with this beautiful, stately 6, 8, 10 heartbeats. This is called the swinging breath. And we're connecting, because traditionally, like in the phrase, I've got your back, the great spiritual beings of the ages have our back. And while they're everywhere, energetically, it's very easy to access them from the back of our heart. Very sensitive, the back of our heart. So what we're doing is we're taking the energy from these great beings into our heart, spreading it out to all of creation. And then on the inhale, we're taking the energy and intelligence, the experience of creation, filling it with our hearts, and then sending it back to the great spiritual government that's guiding and developing all of creation. Whether you want to see that as beings or simply infinite intelligence, totally up to you. But who we become as we do this beautiful swinging breath. There's this phrase in Taoism called the marriage of heaven and earth. We allow the energy of the earth, of creation, to merge, to marry the energy of the infinite, and back and forth like this. Once we open up this channel, it's a profound blessing to all of creation, coming through each one of us. We become the conduits of healing in our world. And you could allow that, if you choose, to be directed into your family, your friends, the country, whatever it is that needs healing in your life, in your world. Classically, people use this to gain guidance for what's next in their life, how to handle something. You ask the question, you basically inhale it and bring it back to this infinite intelligence behind us and spread it out into the universe. Let the universe bring you the answer in its own time, in its own way. We just ask the question and let it go. We don't fuss over it. Fussing over a question of guidance is like planting a seed and then digging it up every hour to see if it's growing, sprouting. We don't need to do that here. We just do this swinging breath, connecting heaven with earth, and allow it to be. Yeah. You could just let that fade away as we move into, now that we're deep within our hearts, let's start to move into whatever it is that we want to shift in our lives, whether it's national, whether it's something at work, some problem with a friend, someone we're trying to avoid. So maybe go back to right before we started to meditate. I know once we connect with this rhythm of life, it's hard to find if there's anything wrong. That's why I had you do it beforehand. So just welcome up that feeling of frustration, of not liking, of wanting it to be different, wanting to fix it, wanting to change it. And just check to see how useful is this feeling. Is it a feeling you love having? If you love it, I encourage you to keep it. Is it a feeling that solves the problem, solves the frustration? Most likely it's not. And does not liking this feeling, I assume in that case you don't like it. If not, does not liking this feeling make it go away? And I think the answer we all know is no. Not liking is resisting, and what we resist persists. Would it be okay with us if we use the power of our hearts to shift our relationship with this feeling? Right now, we're not liking it. We're pushing it away. We're wishing it would go away. Again, if for you, you want to hold on to a feeling and use it, perfectly okay. Perfectly okay. But if the feeling is troubling, we know that resisting it doesn't make it go away. Would it be okay with you if we tried something else? Would it be okay with you if we tried loving the feeling? And if loving the feeling is too hard, believe me, I understand that can be. Could you just be with that feeling? Being with the feeling is a very fundamental way of loving it. Just not resisting, allowing it to be there. Do you notice that when something comes up in your life that you don't like, we all have this habit of not liking it? And that somehow that's an okay pattern in our lives. I know that's a strange thought. Just notice it. Something comes up that irritates us, frustrates us, we don't like it. Would it be okay with us if we developed a new habit of greeting everything in our lives, positive or negative, if we greet it with love? I have one friend who says, and when things don't go the way I expect them to, that's when I get really excited because I know something extraordinary is going to happen. How would that be as a habitual response rather than the response of avoidance? Something like that. I'm reminded of Jesus when he says, love your enemies. And I'm sure he means find a way to love those who are adversaries. But on a deeper level, our closest enemies are those thoughts and feelings that we don't like. Would it be okay with you? Come back to that feeling that you don't like. Just be with it. Love it. And notice what happens after just 30, 60 seconds of that. It's actually a lot of work to resist a feeling. And eventually the feeling just dissolves and fades away. So go back and revisit that situation, that person. And does that same feeling come up again? Very likely does. Same resistance. Could you just let that go? Just love that. Be with that. And if there's no more energy there, let's just spend a few minutes either looking at something else or I'll do what I call stirring the pot, where I try and agitate you to allow these feelings to come up, that we can greet them with love. So I mentioned earlier the Supreme Court nominee, Amy Barret. How do you feel about this? Packing of the court. Or perhaps your feeling is, thank goodness. Here's our last chance to restore traditional values to America, the judiciary. And if you're feeling that, could you check to see if there's any fear within you? Either way, can you check to see if there's any fear? That we are very likely at this point to end up with a decidedly conservative Supreme Court. On either side, there's fear. Could you welcome that fear up? And if you have no charge here, not interested, find something in your personal life or something that does charge you. So could you say, good morning to this fear? It's okay to talk to our feelings. And it's okay to talk to our heart. Why don't you ask your heart if it would like to push away and exclude and be separate from this fear? When I get that, I get a, no, I don't, my heart doesn't want to do that. My heart wants to love. Would it be okay with us if we honor the nature of our hearts to love, to join, to be one with? So could you welcome up this fear again? And notice that we can use fear as a big motivation. And that's okay. That's okay. It's a very powerful thing to do with fear. Would it be okay with us if we do that consciously? Where we realize what a gift this fear is for us and love it. And notice when we do that, that the fear doesn't run us. The fear becomes a tool. We can use all the tools we can get. Or we can simply be with that fear and watch it dissolve. And do it again and again and again till we're left only with love. Let's explore that option some more. Would it be okay with you to move into your heart and simply love the nominating process, the Supreme Court? And you may say, why would I want to love something that's betraying my values? I understand that. And let me ask you a question. Are you more likely to influence Amy Barret or the other 8 justices by hating them, resisting them, disliking them? Or are you more likely to influence them by loving them and holding them in such deep love that they rise to your vision of justice? This is why we want to love our enemies. When we love them, they become our friends. And they can see and feel our values, these deep universal values of love and justice, fairness, compassion, could we again extend our love to the Supreme Court, to Amy Barret, to the senators who will confirm or deny her. And notice the benefit to ourselves as we love, as we move more into this connection with the universal heart. And if inside of you, you get this big no, 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 I'm not going to love them. I feel betrayed by them. They're hypocrites, etc., etc., etc. That's perfectly okay. It's the same process. Would it be okay with you if you use that energy as motivation, as focus? Or would it be okay with you if you simply love that energy? Be with it, sit with it, till it dissolves and fades away. Either way, do you notice, once you claim that energy as a tool, or once you sit with it, either way, what's your experience in terms of peace, inner peacefulness? Are you less peaceful? Are you more peaceful? And would it be okay with you if every feeling or energy that comes up in our body we develop this new habit of welcoming it, of loving it either as a tool or loving it as a way of healing any discord within us? And as we do that, we move more and more into an inner peacefulness. We move more and more into a state of love. Would it be okay with us if we keep doing this again and again and again till this inner state of peace and love becomes a full-time reality? We live 24/7 in our hearts in this state of peace and love. You just say yes to that. That's just setting an intention. You may find some disbelief comes up. That's perfectly okay. Just love the disbelief. Let me repeat that intention, without knowing if it's possible, without even knowing how to do it. Would it be okay with us if we become so emotionally fluent, so emotionally intelligent, that every feeling that comes up, we either claim it as a tool or use it as a process to heal it? And either way, we move into more peace and more love. And that we do it so much, so regularly, that this state of inner peace and love becomes a full-time living reality. I think we can say yes to that. And if in all that you've lost your heartbeat, please come back to it. Perhaps notice your feet fully on the floor, connecting to the earth. We always want to be fully, excuse me, we all want to be fully embodied, fully connected as we explore these energies, whether they're within us or without us. We have our bodies for a reason. We want to love and honor them. And we do that by living in them, awakening them. Now let's just take a minute to end this meditation. That means open your eyes when you're ready. There's not a rush. Just to be peaceful and easy. And you might check now, compared to when we first started this meditation, what your state is, what it's like to move into your heart, to explore the energies of your heart. So this is the formal part of this class. And as we go along, like I said, this is sort of an introductory beginning. We'll get far more into other practices. It'll be a fabulous review if anyone's had it, and a great depth of experience if you haven't had some of these processes. And thank you for joining me. We start now the optional part of this. If anyone's stirred up with what we did, or just in any area of your life, it doesn't really matter. I'm happy to help with people one-on-one that might have an issue. And I think the best way to do it might be to have people raise their hands. When I see Nelda, there's also then Patricia after that, that's fine. Okay, we'll go in sequence there. Thank you, Zamiat. Thank you very much. So Nelda, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, I'm good.
Good. So traditionally, I'd like to give everyone an explanation here. Traditionally, what we do is this is a time for us to either share what's really worked for us, share gains in our lives, or share a problem that we want to work on. What we don't want to do, just because it's not useful or really respectful to everyone else, we don't want to go into a huge political rant or rave. You can certainly say something like, I'm very frustrated with this whole Supreme Court nomination process and I need to work on it. But if you go 2 or 3 minutes of how unfair it is, this and this and this, you know, not really healing. So sorry for that, Nelda, but if you could tell us what's going on, something great happening or something that's stirred up and needs to work with, what's going on?
The great thing that's happening is I'm in the class of 2021 and we are in the sounds now, and it's most wonderful. The sounds are really providing some really wonderful healing for me. And
Oh,
I
fabulous.
started meditating with you before we started class. And I have been through the previous class, I think last October. And I really love working with you. And I'm very moved by how you work with other people. I've listened to at the end of the meditations. So I just really appreciate this opportunity um, to learn with you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Always love to hear gains and so happy you're in INU. That's so incredible. And you're just getting to the great part. The second year is so amazing. First year is too, but
I know. The first year was, but the second year is very exciting.
great. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Nelda. All right, Patricia.
Hi, everyone. I'm very new to this meditation, and I meditate, but to this particular one. So for me, I just want to say what was happening between the breath and the heart and the heartbeat and saying, giving it a name, all of that. It felt like an awful lot to remember.
Yes.
So, at some stage you asked us or invited us to say yes and to seek for guidance, and I did, and I just let it all go. All of the different directions of where my mind was saying, where am I, where should I be, and bringing fear into it, I'm not doing this right, I'm not doing this well, etc.
So Patricia,
Yes.
would it be okay with you if we worked on your relationship with your mind and all these thoughts?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. So when your mind is going this way, trying to figure this out, trying to figure that out, how does that feel? Do you like that or not?
No.
No. And does not liking that give you a solution?
No.
It doesn't, does it?
No.
Would you be willing to try something else?
Yes.
Yes, good. So can you welcome up that not liking feeling, that sort of out of control, going on feeling? Good. And could you just be with that feeling for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Could you be with it some more? And by the way, when I work with one person, you all will begin to see this. My suggestion is that you yourself go along with that. Because the brave souls who volunteer end up bringing us deeper, deeper, and deeper as a group. So we all have minds that sometimes that get overactive. Investigate your own connection with your mind as we do this. So Patricia, what's going on right now with you?
If I just stay with my heart,
Yes?
saying yes to the questions of where should I be, what should I be focusing on, instead of doing that, staying with my heart, then I'm at ease, I'm at peace, I'm in my heart.
Yes.
When I need to, I think I need, or, the bit, the mind comes in that says, was that 8 out, 8 in, was that, have you lost your heartbeat, you know, and all those sort of
Yes. So
issues.
Patricia, would it be okay with you if you see this busyness of your mind as a gift, as a warning that says, oh, it's time for me to move into my heart?
Mhm.
That's okay, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And if you have to do that 100 times before you just start moving into your heart automatically, would that be okay with you?
Yes.
Yes.
Bit of resistance.
Yes. It's not so bad. And because all your life, your mind has been going out of control, right? It does for all of us. And now, just by exploring that relationship, we start to create a new habit. And if it's your busy mind that helps you to move into your heart, that would be a gift, wouldn't it?
Sure.
Yes. So that's your homework, okay?
Okay.
And what you're doing is you're loving your mind. When you see it as a gift, you're loving your mind. And let me ask you a question. Let me ask your heart a question.
Okay.
Is it okay if you live your life through the wisdom of your heart?
Sure. Yes.
That's okay. And ask your mind if it's okay if you live your life through the wisdom of your heart. How does your mind feel about that?
This moment.
It's okay too, isn't it?
Okay. Yes.
The mind actually is waiting for us to live from the heart. Because the mind, it's good for about 95% of what we do in our lives, but the 5% it has no clue. Okay?
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're loving your mind and you're loving your heart every time you make that decision.
Right.
And that's a good thing, right?
Yes.
All right. That's the job.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bobby, I see your hand up. But you know, like I say, everyone, because some people are on my second screen, I can't see everyone. So if you go to participants, I think, or no, reactions, you can wave a hand there, or somehow there's participants. So there's some way to wave your hand. I'm sorry, I'm not. But anyway, Bobby, go ahead.
Good morning, Stephen. Thank you so much for putting this together 2 weeks before the election and after. And thank you for everybody for taking the time to show up and to connect our hearts and move through. This meditation is interesting. Right now and currently I'm just feeling some unexpressed grief, and that feels really good.
Nice.
As far as the Amy Barret question, I went into the past with it. My ex-mother-in-law was the first Supreme Court Justice of female Supreme Court Justice of Pennsylvania. She's still alive. And I was deeply in that world for a while, of politicians and judges. And I really separated myself. I really went into pride. I always felt like I was better than them and spiritually more aware. So that kind of comes up for me with the Amy Barret thing again. I've got a little bit of spiritual pride going on, like, oh, well, they're just doing their karma and they're like younger souls.
So great.
And now it's good. I feel kind of embarrassed admitting I'm saying that.
Great.
So I'm feeling some unexpressed grief and some embarrassment. Thank you, everybody.
Perfect. This is perfect. So let's everyone find out, go inside yourself, see where you have some spiritual pride. Okay? Just check it out. Where do you think that you're better than other people because you meditate? That you're more aware, more evolved, on a path, and they're not? Wherever that is, can you welcome up that feeling and just check to see, is this a feeling I want to hold on to? Or is this a feeling I'd like to transform into another divine quality? And if it's a feeling you want to hang on to, always I'm going to say, go ahead. Well, you use that for whatever motivation you want. But pride is actually something that, you can use it as motivation. It keeps you going, but it also limits us. We sort of get to a spot where we say, oh, I'm in pretty good space. And we hold on to that rather than moving forward. So would it be okay with us if we welcomed up that pride and just felt it? Felt it. And just check to see, with a feeling like this, some of you may welcome up grief, because Bobby had some grief. Just check to see, do you feel that as a feeling in your general field, or do you feel that as a sensation somewhere in your body? Either one is fine. But what will start to happen is, most of the time you'll begin to feel a connection to some sensation in your body, usually in your torso, but it could be anywhere. And this is just practice. Some people it's very easy and some people don't feel it at all. Either way, it doesn't matter. But just check to see and ask yourself the question. Would I be less free or more free if I transform this feeling? And then just be with the feeling. As I mentioned earlier, it's actually hard work to hold on to a feeling. All these feelings really want to come up and go. For most of us, we've been taught to either suppress feelings or express them. And mostly we suppress them. And here we're learning a new skill of transforming them or using them. So Bobby, could you welcome up that pride and let that go?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
And could you give the freedom to all these people in the judiciary, the freedom to spiritually evolve the best way they know how?
Yes.
Yes. And do you want the responsibility of being in charge of their spiritual evolution?
No.
No. No. So we don't want that. It's a lot of work. And how good would we be anyway at that, right? Yeah. So good. So could you just give them some love and approval?
Yes.
Could you let go of disapproving of them?
Yes.
Yes. Could you let go of disapproving of them some more?
Yes.
And could you give them some more love and approval?
Yes.
Could you give them more freedom to be who they are?
Yes.
And as you let go of being negative, disapproving and judging, and move into giving them freedom and loving them, do you notice you feel some lightness and quietness inside?
Yes.
Yes. So every time you find yourself with this kind of a feeling, would it be okay with you if you simply let go of the judgment, the disapproval, moved into the love, and experienced this quietness? Would that be okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Just a habit, right?
Yes.
If you have to do it again and again, that's just a gift. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. All right. So, Robert, I see your hand up. And
Morning,
you're
Stephen.
good
Thank
morning.
you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for bringing us all together. And I just have to say that Bobby has been an important teacher and mentor and friend to me for a long time, and it's because of her that I'm here this morning. So I'm new to how you meditate and to the heart rhythm, and I really can't feel my heartbeat yet. I've really just started to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But for some time, I've had the idea that ideas and thoughts and feelings are really not something I want to pay attention to anymore. And I would much rather be able to go through the day seeing with the eyes of my heart instead.
Yes.
And I'm not really sure how to do that. And I have a feeling that I can learn something about that here through this process that you're talking about.
Wonderful.
So I'm happy and anxious to start it, and I'll let go of the feeling of being anxious as much as I can. So
Yeah. You know, the trick is, and you're very welcome here, Robert. Really happy to have you here. What you'll find, like with feeling your heartbeat, it just comes. Okay. It just comes with practice. Don't worry about this.
okay.
And you know, the any kind of rhythm you create is really healing for everything, for every part of your body and mind. So just keep coming, keep doing it, and you will find that it's an automatic process of living in your heart. But I will warn you, it's a process. You know, it's like learning how to play the piano, it's a practice. And even when you're living in your heart will take the opportunity to bring up old traumas, old energies that create thoughts and feelings. Okay, so is it okay with you if you're just gentle with yourself about this?
Yes.
Yeah. And could you allow yourself to be even more gentle with yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you notice that your mind is the part of you that judges and your heart is the part of you that loves?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all we're doing here is we're favoring the heart and loving whatever the mind does. Okay? And that's the process of living in your heart. So very happy you joined us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen.
Okay. And I see a hand raised here using that hand system. So apparently you click on participants and click on your name and you're given the option to raise your hand. So I see a phone number 12482. Last four digits are 6536. Let's see who that person show up. Yes. And did you have a question or a comment? All right. Well, I'm not getting an answer from that person. Maybe I'm not.
Sorry. Okay. Hi. Good morning.
Hi, how
Jean.
are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Can I get your name?
Jean.
Jean. Hi. Oh, Jean. Hi, how are you?
Great. I feel my daughter's feelings more than ever before, and they're not in a very good place. My daughter, that they want to move out of the neighborhood somewhere else, well, along with her husband. So I just, that is really bothersome to me. And I would like my granddaughter to have some friends come into her life.
Wonderful, Jean. You have a great
real people. real people to do things with.
I get you. You have a real heart that really loves your family, and it sounds like you want to live their lives for
Take on the burden.
them. Yeah, yeah. So that's a little bit of wanting to control there, right? Hello?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. You cut out for a second. So, Jean, can you welcome up that quality of wanting to control or wanting to fix your family? Jean, I think you're cutting in and out.
You know, I'm going to do phone communication and
Hey, Jean,
electronic.
Jean,
Oh,
Jean, I think you've got a bad connection. I'm really sorry. You keep stuttering and staticking and that sort of a thing. Would it be okay if you try and reconnect, or we pick it up
is this
tomorrow?
better?
Yes, this is better. Jean?
Is this better?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, okay, this is much better. All right.
Okay.
So can you welcome up this feeling of wanting to control and fix your family?
Yes.
Yes. Welcome it up some more.
Yes.
And does wanting to control your family, where they live, and your granddaughter's friends, does that really work for you?
No.
No, it doesn't, does it? Right, right. So would you be willing to do something else here and try that? Jean? Okay. Jean, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to do it another time. Okay. Sorry about that, Jean. I know Jean, she's from Canada. She's a very lovely lady and she loves her family very much. That's why I could just jump right to what I knew was going on with her. So, but maybe next time, Jean. So back to anyone else stirred up about anything? Anyone else wanted to work on anything?
Hi, my name's Debbie. Can you hear me?
Yes, Debbie. Welcome.
Hi, I'm on a landline telephone.
Great.
So I can hear you and you can hear me, but we can't see each other.
It's okay.
And so there were some technical problems in the beginning, so I didn't come in until 20 minutes after you had started. So,
Okay.
I'm kind of feeling left out as well as invisible.
Yes.
And I was really looking forward to this. I really hadn't done this practice in years and years, and I did something 2 weeks ago that was lovely, and I went deep, and so I really want to be part of this, and I'm feeling left out and not knowing what's going on, like I've missed out on some important groundwork.
So Debbie, would it be okay with you if we worked on this feeling left out business?
Absolutely.
Good. Good. So, and I'll invite everyone to do this. Find where you feel left out in life. Who doesn't hear you? Who doesn't recognize you? Who doesn't acknowledge you? And Debbie, so can you welcome with that feeling?
Mhm.
Yeah. And can you notice that it's just a feeling?
Yeah, with a lot of grief.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And is it okay with you if you bring that grief up?
Well, what's funny is I was actually crying before I talked about it, and now I'm laughing.
Yes. Wonderful. So this is, by the way, your body wanted to heal this energy.
Mhm.
Okay?
Mhm.
So let me ask you a question. Is there some big event filled with grief in your past?
Uh, so many.
So many. Good. So is it okay with you if your body starts the process of healing all this grief?
Absolutely.
Yes. And the way we do it is instead of trying to avoid it, we start the process of gently welcoming it in a safe and easy manner. Would that be okay with you?
It was so funny. Well, you just said that. I was like feeling, I guess the message I was getting was chipping away. And then
Yes.
you said being gentle. Did you say being gentle, or did I just
You
feel
know, I
that?
did say, no, I said definitely didn't have used the word gentle here.
Mhm.
So is it okay with you? And just to be clear, is it okay with you if it takes a while for these deep pools of grief to be healed?
Mhm.
Sort of, huh? Yeah.
Yes. What I
Yeah.
do is I leave my body.
Yes. So would it be okay with you if all this grief becomes a means for you to be in your body?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Now, does leaving your body heal the grief?
I'm sorry?
Does leaving your body heal the grief?
No.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No.
Okay. So we'll just start the process, and it'll take as long as it takes, but we just do it gently. So first we'll set an intention. Would it be okay with you if it's easy for you to heal this grief?
Good question. I would like that to be true.
I get you. So the answer is yes, but you don't believe it. Okay. And that's perfectly okay. So let me just ask you a question. Would you prefer this process be hard, or would you prefer that it be easy?
I'd prefer that it be.
There you go. So right,
I'd prefer it be joyful.
good. Let's allow it to be joyful then. So right there, you notice you set a very clear intention.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And do you notice all the doubt? Can it happen? This, and this? That's all in your mind. It's your mind saying that.
Mhm.
Can you see that?
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, not your heart. And a lot of what
Mhm.
we do here is we distinguish between the mind and the heart to make it easy to move into the heart. And later on, we realize they're all the same. But we make this sort of artificial distinction right now. So good. Now, does your mind know how to heal all this grief?
No.
No, it does not, does it?
No.
And do you notice that when your mind says, oh, I've got a lot of grief, that there's also an extra message in there that says the mind is more or less saying there's something wrong with you for having all this grief. Is that true for you or not?
I. It must be because more grief came up.
Yes. Yes. So here we have a mind that doesn't have a solution, and it's saying, something wrong with we all do it. Something wrong with us that I haven't been
Or
able
I'm
to
not.
get, that I haven't been able to get rid of this grief.
Mhm.
Now, that judgment in there, does that help you get rid of the grief?
No.
No, it doesn't. So would it be okay with you if you just welcome that disapproving, judgmental energy up? Just get in touch with it and then just be with it. Can you do that?
It's the being with it part that's hard.
Yes. And that's because you tend to go out of your body. Okay? So would it be okay with you if you could just be with it just for a second or two?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And could you be with it just for a second or two longer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And does anything terrible happen to you when you're with that energy?
No.
I couldn't hear you though.
No.
No, it really doesn't, does it? It's scary, but once you sort of become adept at being with it, you realize it's just an experience, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Would it be okay with you if you came closer to it again?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
And again.
I'm I'm not sure if I'm doing it right.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. So when you think about your grief and how you don't like it, right now, are you less peaceful or more peaceful with it than you were a minute or two ago?
um, Less peaceful.
Less peaceful. Okay, good. So we're stirring it up then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So would it be okay with you? Hmm. So it's clearly a challenge for you to feel it. Let's see where we can go then. Let me just ask it in terms of preference here. Would you rather avoid this feeling or would you rather love the feeling?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So what I'm getting is that right now it may not be safe for you to feel these feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fair statement?
Maybe if I'm afraid to feel it.
Yeah. So
Um,
could you give yourself some love and approval for recognizing that this is a very deep issue and that you can take all the time that you need to deal with it?
mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Could you give yourself some more love and approval?
Yes.
Yes. And could you give yourself some more love and approval?
Yes. I
Yes.
can.
Yes. So this process of giving yourself love and approval, it's very important for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is that it's very important to build up your heart before you start dealing with these energies. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, you build up your heart by, and it's true, you sort of miss some of the things in the first 15, 20 minutes, but you'll get them tomorrow. Okay. Believe me, it'll be in a sense repetitive on one level, because I want everyone to have the routine of going deeply within. So please don't worry about that. But you build up your heart by doing the heart rhythm meditation. You also build up your heart by giving yourself love and approval, and consciously loving everything in your life. Okay? In this case, I'm going to suggest you just give yourself a lot of love and approval. If you can, I know this will sound outrageous, but I'll tell it to you anyway. If you can, every morning, just give yourself 20 minutes of love and approval. Every day. Okay? If you can't, you can't. I get that. It's okay. But what you'll find is you start filling yourself up so much with love, and your heart begins to expand so much that it'll be safe for you to deal with all this old energy. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. I'll tell you my own experience with it is, because I do it a lot still, but once I laid in bed and gave myself love and approval for 2 hours, and I felt like I was Jesus Christ walking that whole day. I was just so filled with love. And, I wouldn't do that right away. Well, you could if you want to, but if you just start steadily doing that, you'll build up your heart, do the heart rhythm meditation. That really builds it up quickly. And at that point, it'll be easy for you to deal with this grief. Okay? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Really, really happy you called in.
Yeah, thank you. And and I really appreciate that I was able to feel worthy enough even that I could be heard and seen.
Yes.
And introduce myself when I'm feeling so,
Nice.
invisible on so many levels.
So, Debbie, what you probably haven't thought about yet is I'll bet there are a number of people on this phone call, on this Zoom conference, who feel just like you do and are so grateful for the work you just did. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's really great.
I'm so grateful for everyone here.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Thank you for manifesting this.
Okay, you guys, I've got 10:30 Central Time. It's been about an hour and a half. I'm going to invite everyone who has still questions or this or that. We'll be here tomorrow, and we'll just call this a day, and I'll thank you all for being here. Always a blessing to me.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Steve.
You're very welcome. So very welcome.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Stephen. We love you.
Love you guys too.
Thanks, Stephen. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Have your sister jump on, huh?
I know, that's why I'm laughing.
You look shocked. Totally surprised.
All right, everybody. Catch you on
Bye.
tomorrow.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you.
You bet. You bet. Thank you so much.